Where is Lauryn?
Now Lauryn Hill was a last-minute addition to an already stacked lineup at this year's festival, and that came with its own mess. She was originally scheduled to hit the stage at 12:35 a.m., but things took a wild turn. Despite her loyal fans defending her, saying it was the event organizers who had a sloppy schedule, the damage had already been done. Media outlets wasted no time blasting the news all over social media, and users jumped on the chaos instantly. Instead of giving Hill the benefit of the doubt, tons of posts pushed the same old story, claiming she's always late to her own shows. That's the reputation following her around like a shadow. And let's not ignore what the reports were saying. The Superdome, where the festival went down, apparently never got more than half full. Not once. Not during her set, not before, not after. So her taking the stage after 2 a.m. definitely didn't help her case one bit. The backlash? Brutal. People on X, formerly Twitter, were letting it fly. Some fans were straight up fed up. One user clapped back at the headline, "Lauryn Hill performs at 3:30 a.m. with a fiery, 'Stop booking her.' Just like that. Another user, though, came through with a whole different angle. They weren't having the smear campaign and demanded the truth come out. They posted, "Let's post what actually happened. It's very easy to get Lauryn Hill trending with false narratives. Let's provide the facts." It turned into a whole online tug of war. Some folks dragged her for showing what they saw as total disregard for fans' time, while others said she was being set up by a messy schedule and bad planning. And with the internet already holding receipts from her past shows, people wasted no time throwing shade again.
Yeah, she's late. She's late a lot. Yo, y'all lucky I make it on this blood raw stage every night. Do it, I do it because I stand here in the name of God, and I do it. Okay. God is the one who allows me to do it, who surrounded me with family and community. When there was no support, when the album sold so many records, and no one showed up and said, "Hey, would you like to make another one?" So I went around the world and I played the same album over and over and over again.
The truth finally started spilling out, and it hit hard. Turns out the entire festival schedule was pushed way back. So Lauryn Hill catching heat for being late? Yeah, that wasn't even on her. One person online even said this was literally not her fault. Me, on the other hand, I would have gone home, contract or not. Bye. And honestly, a lot of folks felt the same way. They weren't blaming her. They were blaming the messy event planning that left artists scrambling to adjust. See that first wave of critics who tried to drag Hill? They got shut down fast. Receipts started surfacing showing that the organizers were the real issue. The whole night ran behind, not just her set. But here's the twist. Most articles buried that detail deep in the text like it was no big deal. And readers weren't having it. People started calling out the media for pushing shady narratives while hiding the facts. One outlet, Black Millionaires, posted a headline that stirred even more drama. Lauryn Hill closed 2025 SNS first night, 2 hours behind schedule at 3:37 a.m. The Superdome was basically empty with a few hundred fans staying. That headline alone got a storm of responses. One social media user clapped back with, "Well, this post is very misleading and y'all want people to talk bad about the Queen." They weren't buying the headline at all. And get this, Black Millionaires actually responded saying, "Not misleading, you just didn't read the whole post." But that didn't stop the fire. Another person jumped in writing, "Incredibly misleading because you all know what you're doing with this headline." The heat kept rising. Someone else added, "I agreed. It's unnecessary to mention Lauryn when the other performers were also behind." Boom! That right there was the point many were making. If the whole show was late, why single her out? Fans weren't just defending her, they were calling out a pattern, a habit of throwing her name under the bus while ignoring the big picture. This whole situation seemed cooked up just to stir more controversy around Lauryn Hill's name, especially with that long-standing rep of hers for showing up late. The way some of these headlines were written, it's like they were purposely trying to spark drama, knowing full well that her name would trend the second late and Hill were mentioned in the same sentence. But this ain't the first time she's had to deal with this noise. Just last year, Hill was calling out the media herself. After she and the Fugees had to cancel their tour just 3 days before it kicked off, fans were shocked. At first, everyone blamed the group, but then the real reason came out: low ticket sales, and Hill didn't stay quiet. She dropped a statement online throwing some serious shade at the press for dragging her name and possibly tanking her ticket sales in the process. She straight up hinted that all those stories about her being late might have been what scared people off from buying tickets in the first place. In a post on social media, Hill explained the situation in her own words. "Last year, I faced an injury that necessitated the rescheduling of some of my shows. Regrettably, some media outlets penchant for sensationalism and clickbait headlines have seemingly created a narrative that has affected ticket sales for the North American portion of the tour." And she wasn't done there. She added, "The trust and faith I have in my intentions and my commitment to my art seem to have been overshadowed by this unfortunate portrayal." That's deep. You could tell she was fed up with being reduced to a headline instead of being seen as the artist she is. Now, for those few hundred fans who did stick around into the early hours at the Superdome, they ended up getting something rare. Reports say it turned into an intimate moment, with Hill vibing with the crowd, cracking jokes, and even taking song requests. So while the headlines were busy trying to paint her as the villain, the folks who stayed got a real experience, and they loved it. When it comes to Essence Fest, the vibe this year was way off, and folks noticed what used to be one of the biggest, most hyped up cultural festivals in the game now feels like it's going through a serious identity crisis. Once known as the crown jewel of summer festivals, Essence seemed to take a hit in both energy and attendance. The crowds were lighter, the ticket buyers were louder with complaints, and honestly, the experience didn't hit like it used to. Even Essence themselves had to come out and admit that one part of the fest just didn't land at all: the Super Lounge. Now, this was supposed to be one of their signature experiences, a go-to highlight. But this year, things got real messy. In a rare move, Essence made a public statement owning up to it, saying, "This year, we reintroduced our Super Lounge experiences. Was it confusing? Yes. Did we get it right? Number and the frustration? Fair." That right there says a lot. They went on to explain that due to major renovations happening at Caesars Superdome, the usual Super Lounge locations weren't even available. So instead of cutting the idea completely, they tried to remix it into some kind of premium lounge setup, but it flopped badly. Essence admitted, "Unfortunately, we missed the mark. We hear you, and next year we're committed to clearer, earlier communication so every moment feels just as intentional as the culture we're celebrating." They're calling it an intentional evolution, but fans were calling it disorganized chaos. Between the lackluster crowd, behind schedule sets, and confusing VIP upgrades, people were side-eyeing the entire event, and Lauryn Hill got caught right in the middle of it. Now, the real question is this: should the organizers have let her perform that late, knowing what kind of heat she always gets for timing? Could they have made a different call and protected her from the internet firestorm? Or did they just throw her on stage and leave her out to dry at nearly 3:30 in the morning in front of a half-empty arena? People are now wondering if the moment that was supposed to celebrate one of our legends ended up embarrassing her instead. And that's a wrap on this wild ride. If you're living for the drama, the gossip, and all the behind-the-scenes chaos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash the bell icon so you never miss a drop. More heat coming your way daily. See you in the next one.
Going crazy.